Hey, what's up everybody, my name is Midway. Welcome to this video. We're looking at the Season 4 Affix on the PTR right now. And basically what it's all about is there's this cartel guy at the beginning of the dungeon. You talk to them and they are going to give you a choice between one of 4 buffs, basically one of 4 secondary stats. So for each stack of the secondary stat you are going to get 2% of the whatever stat you chose. And there's going to be these mobs throughout the dungeon that are going to be shrouded. They're going to have basically an aura effect around them and a buff, and whenever you attack them they will pop out and it's going to be an Nathracim. Now this Nathracim is going to have some mechanics, but most importantly, whenever it dies it's going to give you 1 stack of the buff that you chose, and basically you can get 2% of whatever secondary stat you prefer per each one of these mobs that you kill. Now the thing about this is there's not that many of those mobs around the dungeon. Depends on the dungeon, but some have more than others, and there's also a Miniboss that you can kill which will give you 3 of those stacks. So we're gonna be doing Iron Dogs, we're gonna be seeing how this looks like. I've done already two dungeons with these Affix and tested it out. It's been very different in between those dungeons, so we'll talk about it while we are already playing it, so I'll see you in the dungeon. Right, so we're going here and let's see, we're just gonna spawn, and here we go. We have this guy which we can talk to, and there is these 4 choices for a bounty. So as a whole, the Paladin, I'm going to be picking versatility. Now before we do that, I have 26.73 versatility. I'll pick the buff and I get 28, so that's just flat 2%. You can also see it up in the buff indicator. So we already have one of the Infiltrators here. There's this Nathracim in between all these other mobs, and he's basically doing some of the mechanics that happen throughout the fight on the Dreadlords, on Lords of Dread, on the Sepulchre. There's a lot of damage happening in this pack. It's only a +10 and we only have the new Affix, by the way. So basically the things that this guy do is a frontal. He will do a frontal which you can obviously avoid, and if you get hit by it you will get a debuff. You can dispel that, it's a disease I believe. And then there's also going to be a pool that if you touch it, you fall asleep, just like in Lords of Dread. There's a frontal, it's kind of hard to see, but there it is. It's like the classical frontal from all the Dreadlords, Nathracim throughout the game. And that's the pool that's spawning right there that you see. It's basically just like those from the Lords of Dread fight. Now he also does a tank mechanic where I'm pretty sure he applies some sort of bleed. It's called something like claws or whatever, but a monk can just dodge it and therefore it doesn't do anything. Now we killed this guy, so we got another stack of the buff. So now we have 2 stacks. I have 30.73% versatility. I first started with like 26. I'm pretty sure that's not what I was supposed to have. I had already some sort of buff, but either way we'll see what we end up with at the end of the dungeon. Right now we have a Miniboss here. This is a Miniboss that I think there's only one of those throughout the dungeon. He melees the tank and applies a dot. The dot simply does some ticking damage, I believe. He does that big circle which you can move out of, and then he will do the blood siphon. And basically this mechanic is doing a lot of damage onto one target, actually a couple targets. And there's this barrier that you gotta DPS through so you can interrupt the blood siphon. If you do not DPS enough, the blood siphon will just continue and it does a lot of damage. So basically you gotta keep this spell in the tank almost on CD because those stacks are ramping up on him. Basically every melee will refresh him. And whenever the blood siphon happens, you gotta pop something and DPS the shield. He doesn't do any frontals, so it's just a matter of moving out of the melee whenever he's doing the big AoE around him. Now the shield seems to be very long, rather very big, which basically makes it so that whenever you are breaking the shield, he's already done casting the blood siphon, so there's just like not a point to it. Like look at that, how big it is. Now if you get hit by I think it's by some ground effect. Now I'm hostile to everybody. I'm being attacked. I'm not sure what the debuff that's causing that to happen is, but right now I am an enemy to my allies, so I'm pretty much dead here. Because I cannot heal them and they're just gonna be slapping me to death. Yeah, okay. So I'm not sure if that's because I got hit by the circle down the ground. I'm assuming it is. But maybe they did, because now that guy was hostile to me. But there we go, we got another blood siphon. That's over. But yeah, same thing, by the time that the blood siphon is over, the shield is basically almost over. Or gone. And I cannot read the ability. I'm pretty sure I should have done that on the wowhead beforehand. So there we go, this guy got hit. I can still not read this debuff, but I am hostile to everybody once again. Can I see it? No, I cannot see what's up. All I know is I cannot heal them, they are hostile to me. I'm getting Paladin and stuff. Maybe I should do something here. There's something I should be doing to avoid this killing me. Maybe standing on this? No idea, honestly. But the guy is dying. Maybe. I don't know. Everybody's bitter low. It's been twice that I've been unable to heal my group. For a long time. Maybe we can still kill this guy before he kills us. I've been told that this dude is very overtuned, and the previous dungeons that I've done, I've seen this same miniboss, so I'm thinking there's only one of them, but he keeps doing the same 3 mechanics over and over, and once again, I am hostile to everybody. Not sure why. I'm pretty sure if you know, you're gonna be cringing at this, but yeah, no idea right now. So I'm being killed again. I don't know, I might have fucked up something, but it seems like I don't know which one of these 1000 debuffs that I have is the one, but yeah, now it's over somehow. Okay, so we killed them, we got 3 stacks, now we have increased versatility by 10%. So that's already quite a lot of increased secondary stat. We'll see how many other bosses or mini just dreadlords or Nathersim there is throughout the dungeon. We could get that stack quite higher. Okay, we have another one here in between this mess of mobs. There's actually the boss has already been pulled, and it's standing right in the middle of that clusterfuck, but there's also the Infiltrator right there. You can see it. It's abbreviated in my frames. Luckily, we're just doing a +10 with no other affixes, so of course we're doing a lot of things wrong, but it's fine. We're just trying to see what the affix boils down to. So he got hit by the frontal there. I'm able to dispel the dot that he gets afterwards. And there we go, he gets caged, so that means he's dead. And now we only have the boss left to kill. So that gives us 1 more stack of the buff, and we have 12% increased versatility. Not sure if I gotta move out of that or whatever, but we have 37.98. That's a lot of versatility. What the hell? Pretty sure I missed something or failed some mechanic. I haven't played this dungeon since 8 years ago or something. It's been a long time. So definitely do not remember what's going on. It is not tyrannical, neither it is fortified. But this is the first time that I've seen one of those dreadlords or Nathersim be up during a boss fight. I don't think he was part of the boss fight per se. I think it was just a matter of we pulling the trash together with the boss. I forgot I had the battle res item actually. But yeah, otherwise I don't think there's anything usually spawning together with the bosses. You just pull the boss and that's the fight as usual. Now I gotta say, I just finished doing Upper Karasan with the same group, and we only got a total of 5 stacks after the entire dungeon. That means we only killed 4 of the Nathersim throughout the entire dungeon. We didn't kill the miniboss that time. Somehow we missed it. We didn't intend to skip it. Why am I able to bonus roll onto a boss during a Mythic Plus dungeon? Okay. It's definitely not what is supposed to show up, but it didn't work, so... But we already have more stacks. Now, if we take away the 3 stacks that we got from the miniboss, that would put us at 3 stacks only. So we'll see how many we get after this whole dungeon. In terms of counting how many of the Nathersim we encounter. Oh yeah, we gotta kill these guys with the big balls, yeah. Yep. Big balls to the face. I don't know if I can take damage from that, but I'm sure this doesn't give percent to us. 38. 41, okay, it does. Oh shit, well, can you pull everything into the balls then? Okay, that's kind of weird. That is kind of weird, okay, so you can just pull the entire thing, stack them up, and then you throw a ball and you kill everything here. Okay. So you are encouraged to not do anything. You can probably pull stuff over there as well onto here and kill it. I tell you guys, I haven't done this in a long time. I have no idea what this is supposed to work like, but I'm already thinking like you could pull everything. Oh, there's 2 of those here. Okay, that's different. That is for sure different. Can I use the... No, okay, yeah, there it is. Didn't have it down. So now we have 2 of the dreadlords here. And yeah, we are basically having double the mechanics. but it's not like they are doing that much anyways. The tank attack that they keep doing just keeps being dodged, so I'm not even sure how much damage that would do. There it is, Vampire Claws. It never lands. I'm assuming it does apply a dot, but as I'm seeing it, it's not, so I don't know what to think about it. Okay, now we're getting bombarded. Somehow we probably should have already been farther ahead, not sure. But yeah, I'm thinking this dungeon so far looks like you could pull everything onto those balls and just kill it all. Maybe some stuff is immune to it, I don't know. No idea, it's definitely something to find out. Because I'm already saying like the play here is probably to just ignore everything. We're getting destroyed by the rain of fire onto us. That guy got hit by the frontal, so did I. There is one more Nathracim over here on us. Right there, Infiltrator. But yeah, everything basically seems to be avoidable from him, so we're already standing onto the fire again. The tank was asleep and he was not getting broken out. Yeah, we're standing on the worst spot possible here. Fighting in the middle of a rain of fire. Couldn't we just move forward? I'm pretty sure you can just go a little bit forward and it's not gonna fall onto you. But yeah, now it's just the tank and I guess the tank is fine on itself. He's doing 20k DPS almost with all these mobs. But yeah, I haven't seen him once get a debuff, so it might not even be the case that you get a dot from those Vampire Claws. It does seem like it should be the case, right? Vampire Claws sounds like something that applies a bleed and maybe even leeches towards the mob. But that's not the case. So let's see, we already have 8 stacks of the debuff, or rather the buff. So we're gonna get one more stack here. We're gonna get all the way to 9 stacks. How is the tank asleep? Okay, he doesn't break on damage. And okay, I'm mislabing. So it doesn't break on damage. Now we get another stack. We have 9 stacks, and that's gonna put us at 18% increased burst. I now have 43.98. I mean, that is pretty meaningful. That's getting to the point where if you were really benefiting from some sort of secondary like Fire Mages did back in Season 4 BFA stacking, I think in Mastery it was, it might get to that point almost. But as I was seeing from the previous dungeons that we didn't get that many stacks. So it was basically like if almost there was no Affix, because the Nathracim that are spawning are almost like they don't do anything. It's just tank damage. You can basically dodge everything. So in that case, it's just another mob in the pack. You don't have to interrupt anything. You don't have to deal with anything. You just dodge the mechanics, dodge the frontal, and dodge the swirly. That being the case, just basically makes them non-existent, like non-existent. Besides for the tank damage. So it might just be a matter of scaling. If the scaling is way harsher onto those mobs, maybe they are much more impactful, but even then, that would not be a good way of making the mobs impactful, because it would just make them like really tanky or really beefy or do a lot of tank damage, which would be very boring. But yeah, so far the bosses all seem to be the same case. There's nothing new onto them, it's just the boss fight. There is no impact whatsoever on the new affix onto them, besides the fact that you are stronger when getting to them. Another bad thing about this affix that I'm seeing is the fact that it's ramping up. So usually by the beginning of the dungeon you will not have anything, and then you will get stuff by the end of it. A lot like Torghast, by the time that you're strong and feeling like you're actually enjoying the game because you got this big powerful buff, at that point is when the dungeon is over. So what's the point, right? That was sort of the case when in Torghast for the most part, again, the bug here. By the time you get a lot of the anima powers and you're feeling strong, that's when the thing is over. So it's kind of, you know, what's the point? But yeah, while trying to find some more of the Nathracim, there is one more Nathracim. That might actually, oh, he's pulling a lot. Okay, that might actually make some of the packs easier, because some of the mobs could have actually been much more difficult to deal with than the Nathracim themselves. The Nathracim just, they don't do anything. You just dodge everything they do. Now if you get hit by the sleep, you are gonna be kind of screwed, because it doesn't break on damage, right? So you need to dispel or use an immunity. So it is impactful, but at the same time you can just dodge the swirly. So we only got one on this big pack here, but it did replace some mob. I don't know which, but some. I'm trying to focus them just for the sake of nobody falling asleep. But I could always just dispel them. So what's the point? Again, well, what's the point if I could just dispel them, right? It's a very small pool, so... Now, what I was thinking about this affix that it should be instead is we should be able to choose between affixes, not affixes, like powers, like corruption powers. Instead of having this stat, amps, instead give us the choice of picking up corruption powers like Trial Devastation, Infinite Stars, and any other stuff that really had an impact onto how you play the character. But straight up just remove the negative, the downside to it. Now, actually, now thinking about it, corruption could have and should have probably been straight up just a seasonal affix, honestly. It sounds like the perfect seasonal affix. Because you don't really always deal with the downsides, which ended up being pretty annoying when you were rooted 24/7. And you could always just, you could get to the point where you only deal with that on high keys. If you go really deep into picking up, I don't know, a lot of corruption, you could choose for maybe some corruption here or maybe something else that would remove some of the downsides but wouldn't really give you much power. I don't know, something like that. And then you could have the big fun of actually picking up the very meaningful powers like Twilight Devastation or Mythic Plus was very fun, and it could still be very fun if it gets implemented into here. So far, even though you get a lot of stacks of the increased secondary stat that you choose from the affix, I mean, that's not fun. At least it's not fun for a Holy Paladin where you're gonna be picking versatility, and that's not gonna change how you play the game. You're just gonna be doing more damage, and that's about it. So far we have 10 stacks, and that puts us as 20% increased secondary stats. We get another stack right there, so that is 11, so 22%. Then we have almost 48% increased versatility, or 47% of the stat rather. We haven't seen any other mini-bosses, so I am thinking there's only one so far. There might actually add some more down the line. I'm thinking the affix is not complete, because if this is the only... If this is a whole thing, it's so unimpactful, especially because you can skip the mini-boss. And the mini-boss takes a long time, as you saw, because it basically gets a shield every 2 seconds. So not only it's kind of hard, it's also really beefy, so you kind of waste a lot of time on him. Now let's see the boss again. Nothing going on with the new affix on them. Just kill the boss, that's it. And that's exactly what we're gonna be doing. The fire mage, or rather the mage, is playing fire, and I guess they're thinking the same thing that I was thinking. Is like stacking mastery is going to be very good. Fire might be back for season 4 just because of that. A lot of mastery going on. Is this boss just falling over? He's pretty much not doing anything. I don't remember what this boss did, honestly, but he's just standing there. Yep. Gets beaten up. Isn't he supposed to open the cages or something? Or to jump onto people? Yeah, okay, so he gave a debuff to the mage, but he just dispelled it instantly. I thought he was supposed to open some cages and you fought some ads. Okay, he does the frontal thing and he runs to Narnia. I don't know, man. The boss just died too quickly. This is not supposed to happen, of course. We are doing a very low key with no affixes, so you would not expect this to be the case in higher keys. Maybe there's a bug, maybe there's not. I mean, that's not supposed to show up on a Mythic Plus scenario, so... Yeah, the implementation of Mythic Plus onto this dungeon seems to be a bit funky, especially the Drainer ones. Now, we are missing some percent, actually. What did we not kill? Maybe we needed to kill some more stuff onto the first room? Or over here. But I'm thinking that most of the trash will have to be dealt with the stars over there. Those big circles, those big balls. You just ram those big balls onto the enemies. Stack them up, pull half the dungeon all together at once. And that's gonna be the dungeon, basically. You're gonna be able to skip a lot of trash, I'm pretty sure. So long as the balls are not, like, only doing damage to certain type of mobs. So you could not have used them, but... I don't think they've thought about these kind of things, because this was never supposed to be a Mythic Plus dungeon back in the day. This was only supposed to be a challenge mode dungeon, where trash percent was not a thing. I don't think so, right? So you could just, like, the only objective was to finish the dungeon as soon as possible, therefore killing as much trash as possible in a cheesy way was not the objective. However, here it is, because you want to get rid of the percent as soon as possible and then do the bosses, and that's the key. I don't know. We'll see. If that's the case, I mean, it's just going to be the way this dungeon is played. It's different, for sure. I don't know if it's going to be a good thing, but we'll see. Now, yeah, I think that's going to be it for the dungeon, actually, because we have 22% increased versatility from the buff, and there's going to be nothing showing up during this boss fight, just like in every other boss fight. So we just basically have more power for this one boss fight, and that's about it. That's what the entire Affix is all about. Being a little bit stronger, but not too much, and dealing with another mob throughout the dungeon that's not going to be doing too much, but also it's kind of noticeable in some way, maybe, I don't know. It's going to be depending on what the scaling looks like on those mobs, what the HP of them is going to be, and the damage and stuff. Now, yeah, this boss, I remember having to hide behind this thing for quite a bit. Can you interrupt it if you get too close? Is that how it works? Didn't the tank was like able to get in melee and then he stopped? I don't know. I forgot. I used to be a tank back then when I did these dungeons, by the way. I was playing a Paladin back then, but I was not a healer. I was just actually a tank, and I was actually a clicker back then. I was clicking my spells and stuff. I stopped doing that halfway throughout playing Warlords of Draenor, but I did it for the most part of it. So yeah, that was a long time ago. I remember if you kill this guy, he went like into enrage mode or something. This is pretty annoying, the fact you get knocked back like that. Another time where Warlock value is going to be insane. Can we just bop people and they are fine? I'm assuming they are, yeah. Seems like a physical damage kind of thing. So that's why we're not killing this guy? I don't know, I forgot what this was about. I kind of remember it being a part of an achievement of some sort. I mean, the boss itself is this guy, Skullock, not the other one, so... I guess it's gonna die at the same time, so we'll not find out, but... Anyways, that is basically the dungeon, that's the whole Affix. You just get a little bit of a secondary stat increase. You can choose which secondary stat you want, so at least there's that. There we go, we got some achievements. And then the loot has also been scaled up, by the way, so if anybody got some loot, that is. But yeah, they do get 285 item level, so the scaling for Season 4 is already in place. But that's about it, guys. That's the whole Affix. You get a mini-boss, you get a couple small mobs, some Nathrasim that do 3 abilities in total throughout the dungeon. You get a secondary stat increase of your choice, and you get 1 stack per each one of the Nathrasim, and 3 stacks per the mini-boss. I'm pretty sure you are going to be skipping the mini-boss as things are looking right now, because it just takes so much time and it's going to be pretty dangerous, but we'll see about it. So that's all for me, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, hope you found it useful. Please drop a like and subscribe and comment if you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think about it. If you want to see me play live, I'm streaming on twitch.tv/MidwayEU. My rates are Mythic Plus sometimes, so if you want to be looking at that, please follow there. Otherwise, I'll be seeing you on the next video, so bye-bye.